Perhaps you have just purchased a Pixel 7 or Pixel 7 Pro and you're wondering what are some neat tips, some things that you should be trying on your brand new Pixel device. In this video, we're going to go over my top, however many, I don't really know a number at this point, my top few tips for the Pixel 7 and Pixel 7 Pro. So one of the first things I do upon getting a device like this set up is you're going to want to go in and customize it a bit. Let's turn down the brightness just a hair so that you can actually see what's going on this screen a little bit better. So to do that on your Pixel launcher, you're simply going to press and hold an empty area and you're going to get this pop up here, wallpaper and style widgets and home settings. We're going to go through all these, but first, let's go into wallpaper and style, and you can see some options here. So first off, change wallpaper, and there are a whole bunch of wallpapers that come with the device. You can also use ones from your photos. So once you pick a wallpaper, let's go in and we'll just look at one here. We're not actually going to set it, but we're going to look at it. You can zoom it in and zoom it out, see how it's going to look on your lock screen, etc., etc. Once you've picked one and it is set, you're going to see some colors down here. What these are colors pulled from your wallpaper that are going to then be integrated in the rest of your user interface. You can see here those colors being used. Let's change it to that, and you'll see now those colors have changed. So pick ones that you think are going to look nice. You can go to dark theme just to darken things up, but you can even theme your icons, which doesn't work great for me because most of my icons are not themable. You can see that some have changed, some have not. Let's turn that back off. You can also alter your app grid. By default, I don't think it gives you enough icons that direction. So you can turn those up in this area and have more room to work like you see here. If we go back and go into this again, I've clicked on a widget by mistake. I'm clicking on all sorts of things. Let's click there. Let's go to widgets. Now you can see where you can actually place all of your widgets, and it's really, really simple to do. So let's go to this is a cool battery widget here. Let's long press this and you can drag it. We're just going to put it by default on this extra screen because that's the only space I have. And you can see my Pixel and my Pixel Watch's charge all right there. And in fact, if I were to connect my Pixel Buds, let's open these up and see. I think that this is a dynamic widget. I think once it connects to these, it might show them. Yeah, there we go. So now we've got the case and the Pixel Buds all showing up there. That is very cool. You can long press on it to move it around after the fact. You can also change the size of it to whatever you want it to be as well. Very, very cool. So let's go back into that one more time. And this time we're going to click on home settings because there are some good ones here. So notification dots is a good one to look at first. Basically what that's going to mean is icons on your home screen, when you have a notification, they'll have a dot next to them that will indicate that you have a notification. At a glance, what is that? Well, that is this thing up here. And you can actually see there, when my earbuds were connected, that it actually showed the battery level right there. There we go. So it shows, go away, Pixel Buds A series connected. And it does much more than that. Let's go into our settings. It'll show you if someone's at your doorbell with your Nest camera, shows your timers, your bedtime fitness. There's all sorts of cool things that will show there. You can customize that or turn that off there. Turn off add app icons to the home screen. That is super annoying. You install a new app and it puts it on the home screen. Hate that. That's terrible. Swipe to access Google app. That is right over there. If you want to turn that off, you can. You can turn off auto rotation for your launcher down here as well. Personally, I like to leave that turned off. Suggestions are an interesting one. So what this will do is it will show you suggested apps up here at the top as well as on your home screen if you have these turned on. No matter what screen you're on, if you swipe from the bottom and hold, you're going to get your list of recent applications. But more than that, there's some cool stuff you can do here. Let's actually start a YouTube video just because I think that these work well. Let's pause it there. Now let's do that. You're going to see a couple of things here. First off, here is a link. You can click on that and boom, you've now got a link to that YouTube video. How cool is that? You can also hit that button there and take a screenshot of the video being played, that little bit of information there. Very, very useful. You can also press up here and go into split and then open up another application. Let's go to YouTube, let's say. And now you have split screened two applications. Very, very useful stuff. Let's jump into that camera now. And there are some settings up here to look at. So night sight here first, front and center, should be left on auto. It's a really, really great feature. Don't use your flash. Use night sight. It's awesome. Top shot is pretty cool. Basically, if you take a picture of something that's moving, it might be able to pull out a better shot there. Read what it says. And top shot is on Pixel. Includes a short video to capture more of a moment. Pixel will then suggest frames that are worth saving. That's actually a pretty cool thing to have, and I've used it already. You can also change your crop if you want to go 4:3 or 16:9. I use this all the time when I'm taking pictures for thumbnails. I move over to 16:9 and then I move back over. Let's go into more settings here. Camera sounds. You might want to have that on, have that off. It just depends on what you like. I personally don't like having the camera sounds. I take a lot of pictures of my dogs and that click scares them or startles them, and I miss the potential next picture. Under gestures, you can do the volume key actually work as the shutter and double tap to zoom. That's a pretty good one to have. Frequent faces is really crazy. So when you're using that top shot feature, it's going to look for faces that it knows you take a lot of pictures of, and it's going to prioritize those pictures. How crazy is that? Auto macro. This is a cool one. So with the Pixel 7 Pro, when you're in your camera, if you bring something up to it very, very closely, you'll see what happens here. Do you see how it just switched? Now it is in macro mode, and you can see that it is focusing really, really closely there. Let's move away. We'll move back out of macro mode. Did you see the shift? As we come up, it's really close. Boom. Now it's back in macro mode. That is what's going to happen there. It's an automatic switching to macro mode. If you want to turn that off, you can, but I think leaving it on is fine because it seems to do a really good job of knowing when to turn on and when to turn back off. If we switch to the selfie camera, there are some more settings to look at here. So face retouching, I want to make sure that is turned off as well. That's a pretty annoying thing to have. Let's go to video and go back to the front. This is where you can change. It defaults to 1080p, but you can go to a 4K there should you want to do that. 10-bit HDR is also a thing you can turn off or on there as well. Basically, you're going to get just a wider color gamut, more contrast, more true-to-life colors by turning that on. But again, it's off by default. Speech enhancement is also a really cool one as well. Let's open that back up again. Basically, when you're filming in noisy locations, it's going to use AI, that Google Tensor chip, to make that speech a little bit more clear. Now, you may notice when you're in your camera that you have 0.5, 1x, 2, and then 5. So what does that mean? So 0.5 is your ultra wide. Whenever you click on it, it switches the ultra wide lens and it zooms out. That makes sense. 1 is standard. 2 is a digital zoom in on that standard lens. And then 5 is actually a 5x optical lens. Now, you can actually go further than 5, though. If you pinch and zoom in, you can go all the way up to 30. So it's not super clear how you get to that, but that is how you do it. You simply pinch to zoom in, and you can see up here a couple of squares. Now, what this is might be a little bit difficult for me to show you on this camera. So I'll try to show it to you here. So you can see that basically, let's find something to zoom in on. Let's go to, you can see up here a wider shot of what I'm looking at. There's my guitar. So I can see what I'm looking at zoomed in and zoomed out. And it's simply going to help you find and center your shot to be able to then take the picture. Really useful. And shockingly, the picture that it produces at 30x is really not that bad. With the camera, something that's not necessarily a camera feature, but is a photographic feature, is unblur. Let's go to a picture here of, this is Rose. She was about to jump into my face, and you can see here that it is a little bit blurry. She's moving, so it got a little bit blurry. Let's click on Edit. It will download the picture because I don't think it's actually on my device. And then Unblur will be an option here. And this is useful for anything with motion blur or just in general blurry pictures. So let's click on that, and it's going to do some work here to unblur. And I think you can pretty clearly see the difference. Let's press and hold to toggle back and forth. Do you see how much better that is? Look at the line between her eyes. How much better that actually looks. It's not magic, but it does a really, really good job. So that is a cool feature to have. You also do have under Tools the Magic Eraser feature, which we don't have a great thing to really try it on this. We can maybe get rid of the corner of this picture up here in this corner. So we'll zoom in, and we're going to just sort of circle that area as best we can. And it grabbed it and got rid of it. Actually, still left a little bit up here. So we'll kind of just color that in, and it's gone. You can do some really good stuff with the Magic Eraser as well. Another absolutely mandatory setting to change. If we go into our settings here and we scroll down to battery, we're going to turn on battery percentage. You see here up in the corner, I can see the percentage my battery is at instead of just a useless icon that doesn't tell you anything. Turn that on. Another really cool one is battery share. If you turn this thing on and set your device down, if you have another device that can wirelessly charge like my Samsung Galaxy earbuds and you set it on the back of it, it will actually begin to charge. You couldn't see that there too well, but it'll actually wirelessly charge that device through this Pixel phone. So that is also a pretty cool one. Some other like Pixel specific features. Let's look for now playing. So this is when you're going to want to turn on as well. Basically, whenever there is a song playing nearby, your Pixel is going to hear that song, and it's going to be able to tell you what that song is on your lock screen if you want to have it do that as well. And it's just one of those really cool like Pixel parlor tricks. Under sounds, one of the features that are turned on by default that I really don't like are touch sounds. You're going to want to turn those off. Otherwise, every time you touch your screen, you get this little popping sound that why would you want to have a sound every time you touch your phone? I do not know. Let's go into security now because there's some cool stuff there like Face Unlock, which is a brand new feature for the Pixel 7. And if you go in here, you can hit set up face. Let's hit more, I agree. And you're going to just point it at yourself. And it's really, really easy. You're just pointing the camera at yourself. You're tilting your head up and down. You're looking around as it tells you to do things. And bada bing, bada boom. You are now using Face Unlock. I actually don't want to use this. I'm going to turn it back off. But it's a pretty cool feature to have. You can also add more fingerprints in this same screen as well. I would say, though, if you're using the Face Unlock, you're going to want to go into Display and then Lock Screen and turn on Lift to Check Phone. So what's going to happen then is your phone will be off, and when you pick it up, it's going to wake up, find your face, and allow you to unlock it much more quickly that way. Under display, there should be a couple of things to look at as well. Smooth display, so that turns the 120 hertz to 60 hertz if you toggle that off. Screen protector mode, maybe you've got a screen protector on and it's not performing as well. Turn that on to increase the sensitivity. Screen resolution, by default, it's at 1080p. You can turn it up to 1440p if you want to do that, if maybe you want to see that extra resolution. Personally, I don't think most people can really tell the difference. Leave it at 1080p to save some battery life. Still under display, under lock screen, if we turn on, let's see here, where is it at? Always show time and information. What that's going to do is when your device is locked, you now have an always on display. You can then double tap it and see more. But like I said, now you have that time and information notification showing there all the time. Still in display colors, you can actually change this for more natural colors if you prefer those, or that adaptive, more saturated look. And you can probably see on here these colors changing a little bit. If you search for gestures, which is under system, there's a few cool ones here as well. Quick tap to start actions. If we turn this on and let's just have it do show notifications. If I tap the back of my device twice, I guess I gotta go out of it for it to work, the notification shade will pop down. You can actually customize that to do different things. For me, this is a little bit finicky. You have to hit it pretty hard and it doesn't work all that well. Maybe you will have better luck with it. I leave that one turned off, but it is still worth mentioning. Flip camera for selfies. So whenever you get your camera app open, you can flip it back and forth to switch to selfie mode. Camera open, flip. Now we're in selfie, flip again. We're out of selfie. That does actually work really well. Flip phone to which basically turns on do not disturb if the phone is face down. If you're in a lot of meetings and so forth and don't have to go into that toggle a lot, that is a cool one. One-handed mode for me on a phone this size is absolutely mandatory. Swipe down at the bottom, and now look at that. I can actually reach my notifications, swipe up it from the bottom, and it goes back into normal mode. And the power button by default, if you press and hold, does trigger the Google Assistant as instead of actually pulling up your power button. And I'm actually going to change that duration down even shorter because I do use this a lot actually. But you can turn it off if you don't like it. And then under system navigation, if you don't like the gestures, you can switch to 3-button navigation like it's ye olden days and do that instead. So guys, this video could probably go on forever because there's a lot of stuff you can do on your Pixel 7 and Pixel 7 Pro, but those are my favorite features, my favorite settings to change on the Pixel 7. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I will see you on the next one, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.